Hey everyone, this is Tyrell Cannon. Thanks for checking out my video. This is a walkthrough of my Inktober 2022 story that I did called Game Over Man. Every year for Inktober, I try to do a new story as a way to challenge myself to tell one as quickly as possible. And these pages were all drawn half a page a day for the whole month of October 2022. So, you top half one day, bottom half the next day. I had thumbnailed this in advance because this is a story that I have been wanting to do for a long time since I was a kid. When I saw Hicks and Hudson, Hicks is holding Hudson and Hudson's getting pulled down under the ground. And after he kind of, is wasting a bunch of aliens, it always made me kind of sad as a kid. And I was always wondering, did he die? Did he not die? And so this is just my own made up version of what could have happened to Hudson. So I right away wanted to start right in that scene where we all know after Hudson's been laying waste to some aliens, talking his trash as he does, and he gets pulled under. So the idea was here is that the fingers go around his face, and then this next panel outline is the fingers in front of him. This page does have some Zipatone on it, on the Game Over Man logo, which I did by hand. I love doing logos and letters. All this is done hand-lettered ink on Bristol, if anyone's curious about that. This is the kind of shot that's really fun to do, where you show characters move through the space in a single panel, kind of like a film strip. And so you see him falling down here to the bottom of the corridor or whatever they're in here. There's lots of grates in Aliens, like on the floor and the ceilings and stuff. So I was trying to find ways that I could draw a grate quickly. What I ended up using was like a calligraphy pen, which is really great for doing quick windows on small buildings or grates, because then you can just kind of find the right width that you want and pull lines down. So that's how I achieved the grate effect on these. So, he had a few rounds left. He was able to waste one alien, and then he's in big trouble, and there's more coming his way. So he takes off. When I draw aliens, I actually kind of prefer the look of the alien in the first film. The second film, they have the kind of the ribbing on their head. So I was trying to adjust to that because I tend to draw the other version usually. But I still wanted to make the aliens look very kind of dynamic and kind of more, distorted and less kind of, it's hard to tell sort of where their arms and legs begin. I always thought that was one of the scarier things about them. I love the M40 grenades. We see them used by Gorman and Vasquez, so I figured Hudson probably had one on him somewhere. The other thing I was trying to go for with these pages was to work in a lot of the quotes, because Hudson's probably one of the most quotable characters in that movie or in all of film history. And so, I was trying to find a balance between getting the story across that I'm telling, but also working in, some of his catchphrases. And so there's a part where he's describing all their weapons, and he gets towards the end of that speech early in the film, and he says, "We got knives, we got sharp sticks." So I had to work that in here. So he has a knife, gets a little hit in on this alien, and then realizes he's in trouble as his knife is melting. Tumbles back into the ever-present watery area in space that's always in the alien films. This page was fun because it is a little silent break in the action for a moment, where the alien's sort of crawling down, looking around for him. And then he bursts out with his sharp stick. He found a pipe, from this pile over here, skewers the alien. I really wanted to draw this shot of like an alien, pinned down and sort of melting. And then I envision the water's kind of bubbling around it as the acid blood hits it. And then also another pause here where he's looking down to something in the water. The armor on this stuff was really fun to draw. I used some creative liberties. I didn't get everything exactly right in every panel. The idea was to just evoke the feeling of the armor, and I hope I got it right. I think the shoulder pads are a big thing in that movie, and I even tried to get in some of the closer up panels the things written on his armor, because all the different characters had different things written on their armor. I like doing sound effects too, like shook and thunk and tss, working those into the design, the whoosh here in the water. And he finds Newt's doll, which I assume was still floating in the water somewhere down there, and realizes who it is, and then it makes him pull out his memoir of maybe his life outside of the military. One of the things that intrigued me is when he's kind of losing his mind, when they first kind of get their butts kicked by the aliens, they one of the things he keeps saying is 4 more weeks and out, 4 more weeks and out. Like, he was about to be done with his tour and go to somewhere else. And I was always wondering, obviously anybody would want to be out of that situation, but what is it that he's looking forward to? Like, what is it that he's trying to get back to in those 4 weeks? It can't just be that he doesn't want to be a Marine, because he seems very enthusiastic about that. There must be something that he wants to get back to, or somebody he wants to see. So he grabs Newt's doll and runs out. Drawing water is a lot of fun. I like trying different shapes and seeing what I can come up with. A lot of this was done with brush pens. I did use other tools too, like actually, for example, on this page, with this effect behind his head here, that was actually done with just a Q-tip, like your standard house Q-tip. When I'm filling in the black parts of each panel, I tend to use a Q-tip so I don't have to use a tiny little brush and mess up my bristles. And if you get the Q-tip a little dry, you can get these cool effects. I also wanted him to have a chance to do a bypass, because that's kind of his thing. He's like a tech guy, and they use him for that in the film. And so he sees this conveniently labeled door of security storage, which I envisioned as like a place where if maybe the colonists did bring weapons with them that are family heirlooms or their own personal weapons, perhaps security at some point would either have to confiscate those if someone was acting up, or maybe just makes them store them in a certain spot, since living on a space station on a hostile planet is probably a volatile situation. So a lot of them, he finds these weapons in here, things like axes and hammers and guns of different kinds, but they are older. I'm pretty happy with how this tap typing panel came along. That was pretty good. And then I had to have at least one shot of him looking awesome. I originally was going to go even crazier and have just a million guns on him, but considering the length of time I had, and I also thought it might be nice if he doesn't look invincible, but just getting some weapons made him a little more confident again. And again, I tried to get his lines back in there. My logic with what he would be doing if he did make it through that, getting pulled down the grate, was to get to the landing pad and find Bishop, because he knew whatever was going on with the other people, he knew that Bishop was trying to get that ship down. So that's what his mission is. He's trying to find it. Also, if I had more time, I really wanted to replicate that crazy map that they have in the movie that you can't really tell what's going on with it. So he's unloaded on with a MAC-10. I'm really happy with these little hits. Little explosions are fun to draw. A lot of these effects here are pens that are drying out, that are starting to lose their whatever. This has a piece of zip tone stuck on it. And then down here is the same thing. It's a brush pen with the capsule full of ink is running out, and you can get these really kind of nice brushy lines with it. Pretty fun. So we got just kind of a chaos page. Lately, I've been really fond of these diagonal panels. They kind of cut back and forth between each other. I feel like it gives a staccato to the page, but it also gives this kind of back and forth motion with your eye. And so it feels fast, but it also feels kind of chaotic and stuttered. That's what I'm going for, at least. More zip tone here on the boom. And then he makes it out. He's looking the worse for wear. He's surprised that he made it. But he gets out just in time to see that this reactor is about to go. Catches a glimpse of the drop ship, getting them out. Again, some of these effects here are done with the Q-tip. And then here's the last page, and this is where I wanted to reveal what it was on the picture, or the piece of paper he's holding up. And to me, not that Hudson couldn't have had maybe a wife and a daughter or a girlfriend. He seemed more like he was a younger guy that maybe hadn't settled down yet from his demeanor. And so I thought the people he'd want to be going back to see are his parents. So it's hopefully clear that here's his dad, who's a mechanic, and his mom stays at home and takes care of their animals that they have on their small farm. So I thought he might be a farm boy. And I had to do my little Dr. Manhattan homage here, my Akira homage here, and then the whole thing as an alien homage. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit behind the scenes here with it. All these pages are up for sale on TyrellCanon.com at varying... So all of them are for sale on TyrellCanon.com, assuming you get there soon enough. And then there will be a printed version of this story available soon. Again, thanks for watching. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to do a little bit more video content, and check out my links in my bio information. Thanks a lot. Bye.